So thank you for calling me, and I'm happy to be here. So when you think about Hyderabad, you think it as an IT capital. I mean, at least these parts of the country, and it's been doing pretty well. And I think we have something like 77 of the global Fortune 500 companies in Hyderabad. And it's also talked as a kind of a data center now. Perhaps it will be best data center city, a region in the country, or maybe in this entire world also, because we have a kind of a climate resilience, and it's a seismically very safe city for you to establish data centers. And then it will be another feather in the cap if we can get into real big way in that one. We are a kind of a power surplus state now. We will be much more power surplus, and I wish Mr. Jayesh Ranjan has come and given his initial remarks to you, because then you would have appreciated what they are doing from industry's point of view, IT point of view. About, I think, a month back, or not even a month back, our Chief Minister went and laid foundation stone for this net zero city, which will have a health hub city and a sports city. It's a life sciences city, it's a AI city. And, you know, we may not be as diligent as a private entrepreneur to look into profit margins to when a government plans for its development. There are a lot of latitude taken by government, because we go with a much broader vision. We don't go with a 2030 vision. We go with a much bigger vision. We are going with a 25-year vision. Our vision is 2050 for city of Hyderabad as well as for state of Telangana. The importance of this city is that it contributes nearly 56% of the GDP of the state. World over, cities contribute nearly 80% of GDPs of that particular country. Particularly it's so in Europe and North of America, because most of them are predominantly urban. Nearly 50% of population stay in urban areas in those countries, and 80% of their GDP comes from those cities. In Hyderabad, it's a 56%, and if you take metropolitan area of HMDA, it's nearly 60 to 65% of our GSDP comes from these urban areas. So what the new government is doing, anywhere if urban reforms have to take place, or what are the urban drivers that can attract investment, that can attract jobs. One is that the catchword now is that it has to be climate resilient now, because of the climate change, urban flooding that are happening. And then second would be, of course, affordable housing, best housing, or office space, how it's going. I think Hyderabad is doing, I think top draw in terms of office spacing, leasing, and affordable housing also very decently good, and housing is extremely good here, and luxury housing is really doing well in Hyderabad. For last 10 years, year on year, depending upon the area of Hyderabad, its growth has been about 10 to 15% of growth happening in real estate sector. Interestingly, all of us talk about why West Side city is growing. Last night around 8 o'clock, I was sitting with a Gujarat urban developer. He's retired from service, and he's working with a consultancy group. World over, he tells me, an eye-opener for all of you also perhaps, world over, every city first expands towards west. You call it Vastu or whatever it is. He is very much sure about it. I was surprised. Every city goes towards west, and he doesn't know why it happens, but it happens in every city. And then suddenly governments, investors realize that other part of the city is, cheaper, perhaps they try to expand that. And next corner that develops for a city is southern side. That's what's happening right now with the net zero city. Southern side, we are developing a city called Net Zero City in Muchalla. And the meeting I just came out is about a meeting how to build about 34 kilometers of a top class link road that joins Triple R. We're also talking about Triple R. I think Srikanth was mentioning about it. This road will be at grade, metro rail will be there, and we'll have 200 feet road. Next to that, 1 kilometer kind of a growth corridor will be there. And maybe we'll be going for a DPR in maybe another 15 days detailed project report will be there. That connects Muchalla. So next topic, apart from climate resilience, is how well your city is connected. How well you can move mobility. And then if you look into living space and all that, one has to look into blue-green infra. What kind of lakes you have, what kind of lakefronts you have. Do you have a lakefront for that matter where you can go and carefully need not breathe and happily sit there next to a lake? And what kind of granaries are in the city? I think over a period of time, Indian cities have suffered badly. And this is not particularly oriented towards India only, but all over the world. All over the world. We have the bad habit, human beings, civilizations have the bad habit of burning our hands and then trying to catch for a medicine. If you look into China or Germany or any other part of the country, apart from United States, which is a very, very modern country, because when they started developing, urban reforms were very much in line. Engineering was entering its, kind of a skyscrapers phase. So they could take advantage of all these things. They have not destroyed their natural resources. But all over in Europe or Mexico or Brazil, or you talk about China, everywhere, every lake has been destroyed due to polluted industries. Then they have rediscovered it, brought in green technologies, recovered their urban spaces. We are in that phase all over our country. And if you look into any of the river fronts across Europe, they have rediscovered in last 25 years. Thames has been rediscovered in last 20 years. In early parts of this last century, the Thames River used to be 5 feet height on top of the water. Human crab used to be there. I don't know whether you heard about this New York's horse crab problem. New York streets around late 1890s and early in those years, full of horse shit because horse-drawn carts used to draw every passenger, and they used to crab, and it used to be kind of a smell basically. Suddenly, Ford comes and he brings in a car. Next 5 years, the entire thing disappears. This is how transformation happens. You need to bring in technologies. So those kind of technologies we are bringing. That's why Moosi Riverfront is going to be our next best growth engine after war. This is going to recover our urban spaces and bring in people not only to in-orbit mall or a GVK1 or something like that. Very hard to go now. You have to go into, again, a concrete jungle like this. I'm sorry to say this. And then you have to spend your coffee time in a Starbucks or somewhere, interact with your friend and leave and come out, but you don't have an urban space. We have a few places like Tank Bund, but at times they could be smelling because you don't know how to treat your own waste. This is the essential problem of human civilization. So where do you bring in finances? Next tech is finance, fintech basically. Financially, where you can bring in investments? How do you attract your private investor to bring in their money so that within 5 years or something like that, it will become 1.5 times of his investment, so that he's attracted to bring in. So fintech is one more area where we are trying to bring in PPPs, BOTs, HAMs, this kind of financial models. We've been successful, pretty successful. One successful project that has been implemented or getting implemented right now is Sewerage project in the city of Hyderabad. We are spending around 2,800 crore rupees building some 27 STPs, state of art. By December, Hyderabad will be the first city in South Asia to become completely sewage 100% treated city. That's an achievement. Another thing I'll add in blue front, blue infrastructure. If I say that next 50 years, Hyderabad will be water secure for drinking water, your needs, your industry needs, not only IT, any other industry, pharma, so kind of guzzlers of water, some of the industries. We are developing right now about maybe 40 TMC of water will be available for Hyderabad. Right now, we get about 27 TMC of water for Hyderabad and urban agglomeration. So we are planning now 40 TMC. This government, present government, has sanctioned about $1 billion project, both for drinking water to bring Godavari River to Moosi, to clean Moosi, as well as to provide another 12.4 TMs of water to these parts of the city, western parts of the city, because that's where you are congregating totally. This project is a HAM project, hybrid annuity model where 60% of investments will come from private investors. You may ask why they should invest. They have already invested. When 27 STPs were constructed, as I was mentioning earlier, in that 60% has been invested by private investors. We have also taken up, these are all symbols of health of Hyderabad, that people have, private investors have trust in Hyderabad, the economy, Hyderabad, the potential. We have done one water project around Hyderabad, 750 crores. Out of that 60%, 80% has again come from a hybrid annuity mode. Private investors have invested. When a private investor brings in his money, instead of doing some other real estate business, he is investing in government, means he has a trust in the growth story of that particular city, that particular area. So similarly, when we talk about Musi riverfront, nearly about, we may be looking at a 50,000 crores kind of investment. You just can't believe how many calls we get, at least in a week time, that many people come and day before BCG, I don't know whether they are here or not, they are trying to get an appointment with me, we'll be meeting. They are interested in this Musi riverfront development. So that again shows the faith, the trust people have in the growth story of Hyderabad. Right now, we are about, I think, a $65 billion to $70 billion kind of economy per year. And it is expected, Knight and Frank reports, by 2035, we will be $250 billion economy, Hyderabad city alone. So when government takes up this kind of projects, Musi riverfront project, and all these kind of projects, Triple R for that matter is about 340 kilometers. Not only 340 kilometers, we're also going to take about at least 35 radial roads to radiate from ORR to Triple R. And then there is even inner ring road in Hyderabad. Few people must be knowing, when you travel before Taj, Krishna, that's a part of inner ring road. Very soon that's exhausted. We went to ORR. We built about 24 link roads now. Another 39 link roads are being built between IRR and ORR. We are building, Triple R, up to ORR and city. We are building another 49 roads we have just tendered. This is again to facilitate your transport, your mobility. We are not doing out of a thin air. We are doing a very, very good master plan we are doing. The first time when we are doing a master plan, we have incorporated a blue-green infra plan. That's been NCPE, a local grown consultancy is doing it. How to develop your lakes, how to develop your greenery. In fact, let me tell you, over last 10 years of Telangana, of a new state, we had grown from 14% to 19% forest growth. That's again government effort. We have also won an award called a Tree City International Award Telangana has received because of the efforts to improve greenery. So when you are talking about mobility, that's where, whether you want to come from Kokatpalli or Nijampet to your office in Gachibowli, spending 35 minutes, or if you are lucky enough to catch a metro rail going through a corridor, you reach here 15 minutes, how quickly you can make transport possible, that much become a city attractive. So we are doing a mobility plan up to entire HMD area, nearly about 7,500 square kilometers. This mobility plan has been taken up by Lee Associates. A draft report will be getting in maybe about 2 months' time. And then we have, CRISIL is doing our economic development plan. Entire metropolitan development area, including city of Hyderabad, what kind of economic prospects are there? What are areas of growth likely to happen? There are many things that happen in Hyderabad which will not come to our attention. You can think about IT, but most of the jobs come in pharma and the biotech sector. And in seed production also, Hyderabad top, Telangana tops for that matter. I think 35% of seeds that are produced in the entire country are produced in Hyderabad city. There are many big conglomerates in Hyderabad city who are making millions of rupees, or not many billions, but it's again a very good one. When the entire world was running after vaccines, we are the ones who have produced, I think about 35 to 40% of vaccines in the world were supplied by our biotech industry. So these are all some good growth stories. And if you have to invest, you have to come to invest in Hyderabad. There are no better destination in the country. And when we plan for cities, places like Musi riverfront, we do go abroad and examine and come back and see what's happening around. The moment Chief Minister took over, Mr. Revanth Reddy, we went along with him he went to Davos. From there, Davos we took him to Thames to show what's happening to Thames. Thames is again a 55-60 kilometer kind of a stretch in London, city of London. They're doing a wonderful job of it. They have built a sewer line. You think that we are the only city which spews sewer? You have to listen to their grievances. I really remember there are about 35 major sewer outbreaks that happen every month. I mean, every rainy season in London. They're investing $3.5 billion to build about 3.6 meters diameter pipeline to take sewers of city of London underneath the river of Thames and let it out after treating it into sea. And then we have seen the buildings around there, London, many of us must have seen. So we went there, spent about 2 days, went with the CM, met several people. We have seen that. Then we went to Dubai to see Marina, how they are developing, who are the investors there, what are the financial models. We came back, then we are going to a design phase now. Meanwhile, we went to South Korea. I don't know how many have seen this Cheongchong, something like that. It's a riverfront. It's a very small riverfront in the middle of the downtown, and next to it may be their financial district. This is a 13-kilometer stretch of a river next to their traditional palace of their king. Over a period of time, it got destroyed, and then they're totally concretized. And on top of that, they built a flyover. And about 2015, something like new mayor came who became their premier later. He totally removed that concrete structure and then opened the stream. It's about maybe 100 feet, 150 feet kind of a stream, just a knee deep of water. Now you have to see there are fish in that river, small river, stream, and then there are birds there. In the night time, people come and wander around, spend time. So these are the kind of urban spaces which have been created. We went there, we checked it, and we are again taking our public representatives, our legislators, maybe next month, we'll be taking them to, that's our chief ministers, because you have to make people, representatives understand why this is important. Because when they shifted this Changchang, livelihoods, nearly 2 lakh people have been shifted from that place. About 60,000 establishments that have been shifted and given it one area, they all went there, they are very happily living there, selling their products or whatever that is. So that's one point to learn, because it's not only me and you with good paychecks, we live in the city, but other people are also living the city. How to take forward other people, other livelihoods, other people's interests, because you alone cannot be your neighbor. You need to have a neighbor, and they also have to live well. If you have to go through the old city, what kind of livelihoods are getting affected? So we're going maybe towards September end and take our MLAs, show them what's happening there. There is also a project called Horn River Project. It is, I think, 3 times the size of the Musi. They're again doing a 50-kilometer stretch of river development, maybe 35. Huge kind of projects are happening. Wherever water is there, we need to respect it. We need to, not only Hyderabad, every city in India has to rediscover this. They will go through this phase. You look into any Chinese city, there is a riverfront. You look into every European city, there is a riverfront. That's where, Indus civilization went along river. And then everybody has to rediscover that one, because that's where you have to develop your new growth centers. So come and invest along Musi River. You have money in your hand, you invest it. There will be private, we have identified government lands, and there will be a master plan aggregator, integrated plan will be developed. There will be public recreation spaces will be there. There will be walk-to-work kind of towers, your GCCs. Everything will come along Musi. What happened in Gachibowli is going to happen there. And from there, in 20 minutes distance, you have an airport. 15 minutes, you have an airport. From airport, 20 minutes distance, through a metro corridor, you are going to connect our next net zero city, which Honorable CM calls Hyderabad 4.0. That's going to be again, a tremendous destination. When I joined service in '96, all these areas are very highly rocky areas. Nobody would have invested. You wouldn't have thought that this kind of hotels will come here. So this is a vision a businessman or investor have. And most of the people we don't have. The person who can see the opportunities, where not only return on investment, but intellectual curiosities will be, appetite will be satisfied. That is the kind of place is Hyderabad. The plan we are having right now is that about, up to, for 2050 we are planning. We are we are calling up to Vora as a Telangana core urban region. And it's practically totally urban. You have some gram panchayats. Soon they will become part of a greater part of the city. The city is going to, will be up to the brim till Vora, so we call it core urban region. And then there will be different models of government to, not only to provide jobs, but also you'll have, that's where Hydra kind of organizations have been designed to bring back our nature to us. And then beyond Vora up to RRR will be our semi-urban region. That's where we're going to develop our satellite townships. This AI city, net zero city is one such satellite township. Many will be identified. We are having land pooling schemes. We are learning from others. And these will be next to a radial road. That's where its potential will be there. People have to be connected. If you look into the Smuchala side or Thukugoda side, people live there in some areas and they come to this place to work. Do they have to come? Cities have to be compact, they have to be well connected, so that you don't have to spend on your fuel, you don't have to spend on fuel. Next big thing is going to happen is on electrifying your vehicles or, hydrogen fuels and all that. All our vehicles, maybe, our commitment by our our Prime Minister is also when he went to that climate summit. By 2006, carbon emission goals are there. By 2050, carbon emission goals are there. I think by 2050, I'm correct, we have to be kind of carbon zero kind of economy. So what kind of opportunities are there for that one? And for that, we are building that AI city. And then we also, when we go to South Korea, we're going to this city called Songdo in South Korea. This city, we could not visit this time. It's about 1,000 acres of land. I was told that Samsung has its own life sciences lab, AI labs are there. Nearly $35 billion has been invested already there. If you look into South Korea, somebody there, we were talking, he told us, then you look at China and say that China has developed, India could not develop because their governance models are different. South Korea is a democratic country, an Asian country. If it could rediscover itself after, Japanese kind of aggression, in a span of 35 years, it's doing tremendously well. If that country could do, if Seoul could do, or Incheon could do, why we cannot do? So these are the aspirations for people of Telangana and the people of Hyderabad. And if you don't join the race, you're going to miss it. You will be missing it very, very badly. So come, invest, and grow with Hyderabad. Thank you.